Imposter syndrome. What is it? Why does everyone feel it? And what can you do to stop it?
Awards, experience, Tonys, and this imposter syndrome still there, and you're saying it's healthy.
I don't know if it's healthy or not. I'm just saying that it's something that I recognize in all the artists I've worked with. It's in all of them. It's only the people, social media, that says, when you walk onto a set, you gotta know who you are. You telling me you have the imposter syndrome, that means you gotta go into therapy and you gotta just find out, you gotta get some more confidence. It's not about confidence. It's about that feeling of always feeling you're in process and that you could be better.
Imposter syndrome is an epidemic amongst artists that will never go away. This feeling that we don't belong as you look up to those at the highest level of your craft and see all the differences between you and them. The idea that one day you could stand on the same ground as they do or perform on the same stage feels so foreign, and that someone like me with 500 monthly listeners could one day perform at Coachella. It doesn't seem like a real possibility. But everyone starts at nothing. Every journey begins at the ground floor with this small seed that, if watered in the right way, can turn into a long and fulfilling career. But there are insurmountable hurdles that stand in front of you every step of the way. With all the interviews, podcasts, and content out there, it's easier than ever to look at an artist that you like and begin to compare. How they talk about their process can influence your own and have you questioning if you're doing it the wrong way. And these thoughts can grow quickly in the mind of a smaller artist, especially when your expectations are always so high, that this next song will be the hit, this album will be the one that makes me, just to get less plays and tractions than you had before. But this mindset is driven by a focus on tangible results, the views, streams, followers, and numbers of it all. And if that's what you're in it for, then you should really start doing something else.
So I know the language of the artist, and the language of the artist is, someone's gonna find me out. I may not be as great as people think I am.
It's classic imposter syndrome, right?
Yeah.
They're gonna find me out.
And anybody who even wants to be great has that.
I can only speak here based on my personal experiences. All the artists that I love, they talk about these early moments with music where they felt a calling almost. Whether they began playing instruments at a young age, they were obsessed with CDs, they were sneaking into concerts. This is not something that I can relate to. I didn't really view music as a serious career until I got into my 20s, while artists that I love, like Tyler the Creator, Kendrick, and Pharrell, talk about this almost spiritual pull that they have towards music, that they've had since they could think, since they could talk, that this is what they were meant to do. And for a long time, this hung over me like a cloud. Do I stand a chance getting in so late? Am I insane for committing to this when I have so little in common with the artists that I look up to? But I've recently turned this into something that fuels me, because honestly, it's what makes you different that defines you and can draw the attention of an audience. It's true that people can easily follow something they're familiar with. That's why the music industry is flooded with copycats and trend followers who find great success. And this similarity to other artists is to no fault of their own. Following a path that's already been laid out is what makes the most sense and is the easiest to execute on. But when an artist leans into the things that make them unique, that's when great art is born.
But what it does is, of course, you have to have a healthy sort of approach to it. You have to recognize it for what it is. You have to keep it in its place. But what it does on a healthy level, it keeps you humble and it keeps you working.
Avoid comparison. Stay true to yourself. Block out all the noise. It sounds so easy, right? But it's really, really hard. And Although I may talk a big game about having the right mindset and all that other stuff, it's something that I deal with on a day-to-day basis. It's really just about developing strategies to combat this sense of not belonging, because imposter syndrome is all up here. It's just your mind trying to convince you to quit and stop spending time on this passion that forces you to put yourself out there. I recommend this book, The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield. It does a better job than I ever could at describing this sensation and all the other things that go on inside the mind of an artist that hold them back. And it provides a lot of great actionable strategies to sort of move past these hurdles and strengthen yourself and your tools and your craft. Because the reality is, this is something that every artist deals with. And by working every day, leaning into the things that make you different, and trusting the process, you'll blink and it'll be 2 years later and you are actively putting work out there and building an ecosystem behind your project that can stand up next to the rest of those artists that you look up to. And then next thing you know, you're not an imposter anymore. You're just carving your own way.